At 3 p.m. on a Friday afternoon, Jesus of Nazareth died. Instantly, dead people walked out of their graves into Jerusalem. The earth split open, a massive curtain tore in half by itself, and a Roman executioner declared he'd just murdered the Son of God. But that's just what happened on earth. Where did Jesus' spirit go the moment he died? According to Scripture, he descended into hell itself, not as a victim, but as a conqueror. This is the most documented death in history, and the most dramatic 72 hours in both earthly and spiritual realms. Because while Jerusalem shook above, a cosmic battle was raging below. Let's investigate what really happened right after Jesus died. 3 p.m. Jerusalem. Jesus speaks his final words, "It is finished." But finished what exactly? This wasn't just dying, this was mission completion. The Greek word tetelestai means paid in full, like a debt receipt marked paid. But paid to whom? And why did everything go chaotic immediately after? Jesus' final breath wasn't random. "Father, into your hands I commit my spirit." Luke 23 verse 46 records this as an active decision. Jesus was about to embark on a journey no human had ever taken into the very heart of enemy territory. But first, creation itself had to respond to this cosmic moment. Matthew's Gospel claims an earthquake struck Jerusalem at the exact moment Jesus died. Modern seismologists have found evidence of major earthquakes in this region during the 30s AD. Coincidence? But the earthquake was just the beginning of the impossible events. While his body remained on the cross, Jesus' spirit descended into Sheol, the realm of the dead. 1 Peter 3 verse 19 tells us Jesus went and proclaimed to the spirits in prison. This wasn't metaphor. According to Scripture, Jesus literally invaded the underworld. But why? What was his mission in the depths? Colossians 2 verse 15 says Jesus disarmed the rulers and authorities and put them to open shame by triumphing over them. This wasn't happening on Calvary's hill. This was happening in hell itself. Satan thought he had won by killing God's Son. He was about to discover he had walked into the ultimate trap. For thousands of years, righteous souls had been waiting in Abraham's bosom, saved but unable to enter God's presence because the final sacrifice hadn't been made. Jesus came to lead them home. This was the great exodus from hell. Old Testament saints like Abraham, Moses, and David finally free to enter paradise. Inside Jerusalem's temple hung a curtain so thick it would take 300 men to move it. Josephus describes it as virtually indestructible. Yet witnesses claim it tore from top to bottom at 3 p.m. No human could have done this. Temple guards would have seen anyone approach. But now we understand, the veil tearing wasn't just symbolic, it was supernatural confirmation of what Jesus had accomplished in hell. The barrier between God and man was permanently removed. Now Matthew 27 verses 52 to 53 makes perfect sense. Many bodies of the saints who had fallen asleep were raised, and coming out of the tombs after his resurrection they went into the holy city and appeared to many. These weren't random resurrections. These were the same saints Jesus had just liberated from Sheol. Their spirits had been freed, and now their bodies were being resurrected as proof of his victory. Meet the centurion, a professional executioner who likely killed hundreds. Romans didn't believe in Jewish messiahs. Yet this man looked at a dying criminal and declared him Son of God. What did he see? With the spiritual realm opened by Jesus' victory in hell, he was seeing with supernatural clarity. The same power conquering the depths was revealing Jesus' true identity to a pagan soldier. While supernatural events shook Jerusalem and Jesus conquered hell, his closest followers were hiding behind locked doors. If they expected resurrection, why were they so shocked when it happened? Their terror tells us something crucial. They didn't understand what Jesus was accomplishing in the spiritual realm during those 72 hours. Pontius Pilate faced a crisis. Reports of earthquakes, resurrections, and supernatural events in occupied territory. These weren't private religious experiences, they were public disturbances. Roman records show Pilate writing to Rome about unrest in Jerusalem. What did he report about that Friday afternoon? The Jewish authorities who orchestrated Jesus' execution had to respond to resurrection claims immediately. Why did they post guards at his tomb? Why did they later pay soldiers to spread false stories? Their actions suggest they were taking these claims very seriously from day one. Saturday wasn't silent in the spirit realm. While his body lay in the tomb, Jesus was conducting the greatest evangelistic crusade in history, preaching to spirits in prison since before the flood. This was mercy extending even into hell's depths. In the depths, Jesus didn't just defeat death, he took its keys. This was complete transfer of authority. Satan no longer had the final say over death. Every future resurrection would now be under Jesus' authority. Death was no longer the enemy's final weapon. While cosmic victory raged in hell, the women who stayed faithful were preparing burial spices for Sunday morning. These are your key witnesses. They watched him die, saw where he was buried, and planned to anoint a dead body. They weren't expecting resurrection. So what changed their world Sunday morning? Sunday morning, 3 a.m. After 36 hours of cosmic victory in the spiritual realm, Jesus' spirit returned to his physical body. But this wasn't just resuscitation. This was transformation. He had conquered death in the spirit realm, and now he was proving that victory in the physical realm. The women found an empty tomb. But here's what's fascinating. Their first reaction wasn't joy, it was terror. The gospel writers admit the women initially said nothing to anyone because they were afraid. This isn't the behavior of people spreading a planned hoax. This is the shock of encountering proof that Jesus had successfully completed his mission in hell. When Jesus told Mary, "I have not yet ascended to my Father," he revealed his work wasn't complete. He had conquered hell, but now he had to present evidence of his victory to the Father. The blood of the eternal covenant had to be presented in the heavenly Holy of Holies. For 40 days, Jesus appeared to over 500 people. These weren't ghost sightings. This was the conqueror of hell proving he had won in both realms. He ate fish, let them touch his wounds, and demonstrated that death had been defeated completely, spirit, soul, and body. When Jesus said, "All authority in heaven and on earth has been given to me," this wasn't theoretical. He had just spent 3 days claiming that authority in hell's depths. Now he was commissioning his followers to enforce that victory on earth. So what really happened right after Jesus died? We have multiple eyewitness accounts of extraordinary physical events. We have panicked reactions from both followers and enemies. We have a movement that exploded immediately after its leader's execution. But we also have gaps in the historical record and claims that challenge natural law. But the spiritual account completes the picture. Jesus embarked on the most audacious rescue mission in history. He invaded hell itself, defeated Satan on his own territory, liberated the righteous dead, claimed the keys of death, and returned victorious. The physical events were manifestations of this spiritual victory. The question isn't just what happened 2,000 years ago. It's whether you believe Jesus' victory in hell applies to you. Because if he conquered death for himself, he conquered it for everyone who believes in him. That Roman centurion saw it. The women at the tomb experienced it. The disciples were transformed by it. Every funeral, every cemetery, every fear of death, all of it changed in those 72 hours. Be on the lookout for the next documentary in this powerful journey. Subscribe now, hit the bell, and stay tuned, because the story of what happened after Jesus' death is just the beginning of a deeper truth waiting to be uncovered.